deal with this one. Okay. How about now? Whoever's over there, can you hear me? Over on one of the social media platforms, I need to kind of get a thumbs up or something in the comments block. If you would do that, please, and let me know. All right. So how's everybody doing? We'll just go around the room, and we've got a new person in here with us right now. Stacy, you want to introduce yourself really quickly, and then we'll go over and just kind of do a round robin around the room.
Stacy? Short a mouthful of food. So,
okay, I caught you at the wrong time.
I am having video issues, so you can't see me.
Okay.
I can see everybody else. I can hear everybody else. So,
okay.
Please pardon my absence of the camera. So I'm not trying to hide. I'm sitting here pretty too, so don't worry about that.
Okay.
My name is Stacy Lunsford. I am part of the board of directors over on the nonprofit side of TDBA.
Yeah.
And I work very closely with Ilaria and Sarah,
yep.
Who are our chair and vice chair board members.
Yep.
So we are doing a lot of work. We're doing a lot of work. You know, they've been keeping me busy.
That's good. Okay, we'll get back in and discuss some of those things you're doing on that side. I did hear from Sarah and Ilaria. They can't make it in here tonight. Both have other commitments, I believe.
Yes.
So they won't be in here, and our C4 board, I already know from them too that they can't be in either. So it's I'll speak more for the C4 side in just a minute. Ray, you want to introduce yourself and tell us what you do and all that?
Yeah, I'm Ray Gibson out of Georgia. I'm the Georgia State Director, and I have been straddling a couple of groups here and doing a little battle and making videos and trying to get well. I had an emergency room scare a couple of weeks ago where everything was blowing up and my stomach was sick and I was doing MRIs and CAT scans and just all sorts of junk. So I've been recovering from that. I've been pretty much resting for the last 2 weeks. I had a bladder infection too on top of everything.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad you're on the mend.
Yeah, I'm on my way back.
Good.
I'm also addressing a couple of things with our VCC here in Georgia, and also wanting to get to a meeting with our county senator's office. I figured, you know, with legislation happening, we need to get close to these politicians.
That's right. You're right. We do. We absolutely do. You're right. Jovan, you want to introduce yourself if you're available to do so? I know that Jovan, I think he was on the phone there. Oh, there's Jovan. Hey.
I'm here. I'll try to be real quick. I have my house insurance on the line real quick. But Jovan Wolf, he and they pronouns. I'm the director of workplace equality at Transcan Work, where we, I talk with companies all day long to help them be more inclusive of the TGI community with all of their diversity, equity, inclusion, belongings trainings and programming. And we also support TGI job seekers, helping them get upskilled, getting them into resources and so forth. So excited to be here. I am also a veteran. So thank you. It's my first time here at this meeting, so I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Thanks, Jovan. And take care of your insurance. Absolutely. But anyway, yeah, so I know everyone in here. Y'all know me. I don't have to introduce myself at this point in the game. Jovan and I kind of play phone tag with our mutual friend out in California, as well as Ray. Ray, I think Michael Hogberg calls Ray a lot, calls me 2 or 3 times a day, and and has for the past year. But that's fine though. I mean, I love having those conversations because Michael knows a whole hell of a lot of people, to put it bluntly, and has a memory like I don't know what. I mean, can remember all the details. I'm like, why?
Notepad listening to that guy because he dropped so many names. I'm like, oh, I'm swimming in.
Yeah. I have to write them all down. But no, Jovan is also connected with Michael too, and I know that they talk a lot. So there's a lot of stuff going on in California, and I know that Michael's let me know today that they are having a Trans Day of Remembrance, something in LA there. I think it's probably Sunday night though, rather than any other time. But anyway, yeah. So before I jump into anything at all, is there anything you need to talk about over in from the C3 side, like your Go Transport program or the status of the bylaws, Stacy?
Yeah, I was just informed sometime today, I don't know. I think there was an email went out that the bylaws amendment is going to be going out for general membership voting. I don't know when that will happen. I just know that I was notified that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
The Go Transport program. Oh my lands! Yeah, I just met with Lisa Wilcox this afternoon.
Okay.
We went over a few things. We are both on the same page. The ideas that I was asked about to help develop the Go Transport app or website, whatever, I can't know, it's something. I think it's an app. I think it is that we're designing. We are, she's going to. I'm waiting for an email back on how her progress is going this evening. She's working on it tonight with some of the changes that I brought forth to put on there. And then we're going to have another meeting right after Thanksgiving sometime. There will be me, Sarah Wilcox, and Sarah, our chair board of director, in that meeting to kind of review the development of this app and make sure that we've got the right things in there. Probably go over the functionality of it and what so forth before we can drop it out publicly and stuff like that. So there's a few things that we're making some modifications to, especially on the internal side of the app. So the capture of certain elements for verification purposes for those veterans that use it for that program. And adding a disclaimer on that purpose for that identity check to make sure that we're capturing the correct people for that program, and we're just so you're all aware of this, the app has will have verified by 3 documents. So one of 3 options. You have 3 options. Either do a screenshot of your VA card that you're a veteran. So basically the ID card that we all get with the VA. That's one option. A screenshot or photo of your DD-214 will be acceptable, or a photo or screenshot of a letter from the VA that you are a veteran. The letter that we all get for VA services. So basically, it's just to clarify. It's a simple thing to verify that you are a veteran using this program. The disclaimer will stay on there that we will only keep this document on file for 30 days, and then after 30 days, it will be destroyed. We will not keep it, and that will be on the coordinator portion of things, whoever's the coordinator at the time or with this program, which apparently I'm supposed to be that person to begin with for the trial portion of things. So a lot of things, we're just going to iron this out. Once things run smoothly, we will bring in a new coordinator, get them trained on the use of it, and release it to the new coordinator. So once then, apparently we're going to try this in 2-3 different locations, I think is what she said. So once we get that trial up and running, I'm really excited about this because, I get to work with the veterans. How about that? Yay!
So, Stacy, would you elaborate a little bit on this is an Uber thing too, right? You're setting it up through Uber, and
Yes.
it's a
Yes,
transportation
it's a
program.
Right. Go Transport. Yes, and we're trying to keep it veteran friendly, veteran inclusive. Within of the LGBTQ veterans, and also our gender veterans out there. We're trying to keep this in a neutral perspective. So we don't want to put a lot of color out there for this app. It's just, hey, this is the program, this is the app, and we're going to promote that. And and we're trying to keep away from, it's not coming from me, so we're trying to work out the details, but the trans colors are going to kind of like not be present on this trial basis, and at the beginning, and we may change that over time, but right now we just want to keep it kind of neutral so that we can see how it works, and if there's any changes, modifications, we can go back and work on those ideas.
Great, thank you. I think those original cities, what were they? Boston, New York, and maybe Richmond, Virginia. But I think Richmond may be out now in the running because Seed is no longer with us, the state director up there.
Right. So, I know New York. I know New York, or some a portion of New York. I don't know. I don't know the 3 locations.
Okay.
At this time, I do know that New York is one.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. I also know I wanted to put out there that Uber has committed $2,000 a month toward this program, which is really fantastic. And I was hoping to connect up.
Folks from it will be split down. There's a percentage in there as well. I think most of it will come back to us to keep the program running. So it's an awesome program. We're loving it.
Yeah. There's also, by the way, I didn't know if you had heard of this, but one of the programs that Uber has is called Uber Health, which is in this thing that we've already said.
Yeah, we believe it will be connected somehow.
Yeah.
My understanding was, I mean, Lisa is awesome, and she's got these connections, and so Uber Life or Uber Health, it is connected in here. They're one of the biggest supporters of this. So it is just phenomenal. Yes.
And the Uber Health thing, by the way, for everyone who's listening or will read the report from this later, Uber Health also is the one that will strive to make sure the drivers are HIPAA compliant, because we want to make sure that whoever's in that vehicle knows they cannot share the information or anything that they see or learn about the health and well-being of that veteran or person in that vehicle. So they'll be trained as HIPAA compliant people, as drivers. So that's usually.
Absolutely. And they I think they have a program already started.
Right.
And it's just Uber Ride, just for healthcare of veterans.
That's right.
And I mean, if it's a ride to the dentist, if you need a ride to go get groceries, and you're a veteran and you need a ride,
That's
you
right.
can call. It is free. That's a phenomenal thing. And it is Uber that's actually flipping the bill for all this, and we're getting paid to help them with this using, this app, which is going to be an outside thing just for us and for them, in correlation with this. So, groceries, I need to go to the grocery store, hey, call Uber Ride, or Go Transport, and you got a ride. You need to go to the pharmacy and pick up your medicine,
Right.
If your wheelchair found, I believe I read this somewhere, if you're wheelchair bound or bed bound, they will. You can use this, and they will go pick up your medicine or your groceries for you and
Right.
bring it back to you and deliver it to you. Now, I mean, it is an awesome program. I
Yeah.
just love it.
I do too.
You know,
I do too. I love it. I love what you are doing, and I'm so glad you are working forward to moving that happen. Stacy, that's really good. And whenever you talk to your team, let them know you did give a little presentation this evening about that. But as I said, also it's in the notes, and
Yes.
because this thing is reading it automatically, our notes in here. And speaking of Uber, I think I hope I was able to connect Jovan with Michael Pett at Uber, because Jovan works in the employment side, and or Michael works in employment side and veteran side with Uber, and I was hoping they were able to connect. Did I make that connection for you, Jovan? I don't know if I did.
I think I was reading somewhere that, to interrupt a little bit on I do believe that they're hiring veterans
They are.
or drivers for this program. So it is a job opportunity, and working with Javon here, I mean, this would be an excellent connection with that too, as well.
Yeah, yeah. Were you able to get that connection, Jovan?
You know, I see your email right here.
Okay.
I'll be honest, I haven't had a time to respond to that. My apologies, but Michael responded, so I'm going to respond actually right now and
Good.
get that started. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yay!
Yay! Like connections. Ray, so how are things going over in Georgia? I know everything's kind of hectic with your health and all that. That's the biggest priority first. Anything we can do to help you?
Well, no, I pretty much kind of got things, been advocating for myself. And,
Good.
the problem turned out to be a medication problem, a cross between one doctor was giving me one thing that made my feet and my legs swell really
wow.
bad.
Oh,
And then the other doctor was saying, well, no, don't take that, but take this. And her medicine was making my stomach sick.
jeez. Oh my
I was
God.
having a bad day. I was like, oh my
Oh
God.
yeah. And the craziest thing as we get older, Ray, it gets worse.
Yeah. I used to, catch a little cold, and now I get stupid big stuff like this.
Right.
I was in the ER for 13 hours.
Oh, goodness. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I hate going to the VA ER in Atlanta.
Oh my gosh.
So crowded.
Oh,
Just, people from all over the state are funneled to the Atlanta VA system.
yeah.
So they're understaffed
Always.
and, overworked. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm laying in the bed, and there's some woman in the next room or something that was screaming. She was in pain. She did that for about 5 to 10 minutes before somebody heard her. I was like, God damn, she felt like she was dying over there. But anyway, so I've got that going on. I continue to bump up against transphobia and racism.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get, while I'm sick, and that is just the worst time to have to advocate and to get things going. But, I'm a squeaky wheel.
Yeah, no, I know that's the case, because how long we've been talking now with those leaders in VA at the VACC, the VCC people. I know I've watched threads of communications between you and them.
Well, I'll be talking to them. If I'm not talking to them, I don't normally send things outside
Right.
of the VA because I use my Health-A-Vet a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm communicating there, and then I'm also communicating with people that are in the VA system, but I don't quite know what their titles mean.
Oh,
But
okay.
when I see some real pressure on them, that's what I'll do, so that other people, so that the VCCs know
Yeah.
that other people are looking at what they're doing.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
I still have to fight. I still have to figure out what to do with Covington VA, who
Yeah.
said that they don't treat transgender people.
Oh, they don't. Oh, you told me that. You told me about that. That's right. You did tell me that.
Respect to 1341, but everybody's afraid to confront these folks. And
Yeah.
that is why I keep digging in the VCC butt, because it's like,
Yeah, just keep at it. I mean, it'll.
Do the right thing. Who can? You know, if somebody can give them the
Right.
authority.
Right. That's
to
right.
tell They can't break. They can't violate things. So I'm trying to establish a relationship with
Okay.
my senator here because I'm going to start funneling this stuff through him as well
Okay.
and see what he has to say about what's going on there and Warnock and Ossoff.
Mhm.
Warnock and Ossoff senators establish a relationship with them
Good.
besides trying to keep up with Michael and the gazillion things that he's throwing at me. I'm getting ready to sign up for the Film Atlanta Comfort Conference
Yay.
next year. He also wants to take me to Canada.
Me too. Me too, Ray. I think Joe Vaughn's probably heard that same thing from Michael Hogberg.
Yeah.
2025, we got to be on Victoria. All of us with Michael, apparently.
Just, we just all got to get together. You know,
Yeah,
Michael,
absolutely.
with our
Absolutely.
connecting link here.
Yeah.
I would have never met you, Cassandra, without, you know, Michael. You're like, y'all need to talk to each other. So
Michael and I talk, as I mentioned earlier in the show, Michael and I talk a couple of times a day, every day for the past year, since last October of 2022, not this October. But I don't mind that though, because one, Michael needs somebody to talk to, and I want somebody to hear some things too. And it's really good. I mean, I like that. I like that. Those kind of connections matter. They
well,
do.
put it this way, like Michael invited me to the Lambda Legal
Yeah.
brunch
Yeah.
in Palm Springs, and I went and I met with Pelicanos, not their first, but their new attorney, who's, you know, combating all the anti-legislation bills out there and doing the good fight.
Yeah.
And now I have Pelicanos on the panel on Monday, which is awesome.
Yeah.
We had a good connection, and then I also got asked to be on a board for Outwards, which is like, I don't know if you know Outwards. They're archiving LGBT elder stories.
Oh,
So I just got asked to be on their board. And the only reason why they know me is because Michael invited me to an event, and I went and I talked to the ED of that organization, and that's how that happened.
that's cool. That is so cool. I'm glad to hear stories like that. That's just freaking amazing. So there's an elder person right there in Long Beach. I don't know if you know them, but you need to meet them. Really should. It's Joanne Clark, lives in Long Beach. She's in her 80s
Oh, wow, yeah.
and mid 80s. She enlisted in the Navy in the 1950s. Retired as a chief petty officer in 67, 69, something like that. And then once she got out of the Navy, she transitioned physically and publicly in every way in 73 or 74. She was doing IT work and with the Army as a civilian contractor, and they asked her to come back in, knowing full well that she was a transgender woman at that point in time, and they allowed her to come in. She went in on active duty, was on active duty for a couple of years or so until the Pentagon found out about her. Then the Pentagon said, "You've got to go. We can't have you in here. What'd you do, lie to get in?" And then Joanne says, "No, I didn't lie getting in. Everybody knew." Can't hear a thing, Lisa. But Joanne is awesome. And I met her when I was out on the road. And her computer system, she's got it in her room. I'm going to tell you, this thing looks like a Star Trek command center. This stuff would swing in front of you and all that. It was awesome. But yeah, she's in Long Beach, and she's really phenomenal. There's some good people in Long Beach and the whole area right there. So,
well, now what's the difference between Outward and Sage? Sage also is soliciting for stories from elders.
Yeah, I believe, like, isn't Sage the organization that does help LGBT elders with, I think, a lot with housing, as well as probably like healthcare and such, like resources they need. So they're like more of like a service provider, I believe Sage is. But then outwards, they're more of like archiving.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, like they have a museum. I was at a museum here in LA, and they had a gallery of some of the projects they were working on, the storytelling that they were doing.
So I wonder if Outwards is connected with.
Hey,
Yeah. What's that, Ray? I'm sorry.
I do storytelling for stage.
Oh, I
Love
see. Okay, yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So both of the storytelling programs, the one that Ray's talking about, the one that you're talking about, Jovan, is that Aaron DeVore? Are you connected with Aaron DeVore in any way? Because they have a repertoire, a repository of historical information as well up there in Victoria, BC.
I'm not sure. I know about the One Archives here in Los Angeles.
Talk with Michael
One day.
about that. Michael can
Yeah.
make that introduction with Aaron for you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoy being, I'm really centered and connected to, the importance of storytelling. Even
Yeah.
myself, as only being, I'm getting up there, 42, and when I went to Trans Pride this year, there are a lot of younger ones there. And, I'm talking to them. I'm like, this wasn't like this when I was your age, when I was about 18 or so, like at all. We didn't have Trans Pride. I didn't have support like this. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, this is amazing what's going on right now, but it wasn't like that. And then I think of my elders, before me, even worse, not worse, but even more with, not having support and representation and so forth. And I think times are just different,
They change with every generation.
Yeah, zero.
Zero. So let's let's check in on Lisa really quickly. Lisa, can you hear me? How you doing?
Finally, I can hear you.
Good.
Oh.
I'm glad. How you doing in El Paso, Texas?
Yeah. I'm going to work on a campaign to try to get somebody elected to state
Okay.
legislature.
Okay. You need a lot of new legislators in Texas.
Well, as the late great Molly Ivins said,
Molly Ivins, I love Molly
Texas
Ivins.
legislature is the laboratory for bad government.
Molly would know.
And the problem is everybody's trying to outdo Texas.
Yeah, that's the truth. Whew, oh my gosh.
Trying to outdo stupid. Yeah,
Yeah.
hold my beer. I can do more stupid things in Texas.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Oh,
And
that's good.
surprisingly, they can.
Yeah. So let me ask you a really quick question. How many of you have taken the opportunity to look at Heritage Foundation's Project 2025? You need to really check this thing out. Project2025.org. And all you have to do is read the forward to it. This is a $22 million funded project with 75 plus organizations supporting it at this point. And they've got two major goals. I mean, got 4 pillars, but one of the major goals, the first one they say ostensibly on the top, superficially, I guess, would be, to shrink the administrative state and the federal government. But in the second paragraph in the forward and then everywhere else down through there in a large number of places, the target is transgender people in the country. And they have a plan to make it happen. They have a training academy. It's project2025.org. It's part of the Heritage Foundation. Don't buy the book. There's a download option on there for the PDF. Go check that out. They don't need another $35. But go check it out, because all of us need to be aware of this, and we need to start working together to combat it, because it is dangerous. It's horrifyingly terrifying, put it that way. And they've got the resources to do it. Heritage has been around for 50 years. The last time they did something like this that was big was when Reagan took over as president back in 1980. And they handed Reagan this document as he walked in the office and said, these are some of our goals. And Reagan had already bought into it. And with 180 days, they were able to get 60% of their goals accomplished in the first 180 days. They consider that a failure. They've taken that thing and put it on steroids. They've made a really strong organizational structure to this thing. And now they're wanting to go in there as soon as this president says, so help me God, on January the 20th, if it's a conservative president, if that's the case, As soon as that happens, so help me God, noon, January the 20th, they'll be able to hand off to this new president 2,000, 4,000, 5,000 people already vetted and trained in their academies to step in and do what they want to do. And they intend to delete. I'll get right with you, Ray. They intend, and you can see it in the forward to this thing that Kevin Roberts wrote. They intend to delete these words from the whole of the federal government. Sexual orientation, gender identities, gender everything, reproductive health, and then they put a little comma at the end and said any other word that might offend the First Amendment rights of Americans, as if we're not Americans. Oh, I'm telling you, it's dangerous, folks. So I'm hoping you all actually take the time to read it, because it is hugely important that you do. And that's what I've been spending a lot of time talking about. Yeah, Ray, I'm sorry I didn't.
Well, because we don't have any kind of money to fight an organization like that, what are we doing about making sure the Republicans don't get in next year to vote?
We have to get the vote. We have to tell people to go vote. And the other thing is we need to convene as many organizations as we can, virtually or whatever. We got to do that. I mean, we've got to start doing it, because this thing they are darn serious about it, folks. I mean,
We got to make sure they don't get in, and then they can't implement.
Right. But the other thing too, realistically, as soon as they start stuff like that, they're going to be taken to court over it. It's going to be tied up in legislation left and right all the time. But that's the whole idea. They want to tie it up in legislation and hope that they can get something compromised out of it that they want. That's the plan. Anyway, I just want to throw that out there to everybody. I actually do. Lisa, go ahead. I see your hand up in the air.
You do what we do here. We live in Texas, and we're different from the rest of Texas because we don't have that kind of hate coming from our public officials, even though there is one who's tried to get my support, but I know she doesn't care about us, has promised to sit down and talk and hasn't delivered. So I'm supporting her opponent who has supported us anyway.
Right.
But you have to work at the local level. All politics are local.
Yeah.
That means you need to call whoever represents you, because basically every city has a board, different boards that make decisions like open space and things that deal with veterans and housing and all this stuff. Find out who represents you, get yourself put on a board.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hide in the closet.
True.
Because that's basically part of our problem. The other part is the elitism of both the East and West Coast, forgetting about flyover country.
Yeah.
You have to reach out. You have to be involved locally.
Yeah.
You have to say, if there's somebody that supports you, say, here I am. I'm bringing 5 people with me. We will phone bank. We will walk. We'll do whatever. You work at the local level for your local office, elected officers, and for those, who are going into state. I'm going to try to get a lot of our community working for this one city council member who's now going to be running for state representative, who's supported our community, to actually return the favor by getting out and walking blocks, phone banking, donating, and just carrying signs.
Yeah.
These are the basic little things. You do this, then you build the base upon which you can build further. You have to have a foundation. This is where you build the foundation. You can't start out at the top. You've got to start at the bottom and build it up. You have to become active in your local party that supports you, be it Democrat or Republican, independent, third, whatever. Become a precinct chair, get in at the county level so you can make decisions on what happens at the county level, then decisions that the state will make. These are the basic, simple things that has to be done. But people would rather sit on the couch and bitch and moan than get out and do the work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what you have to do. You have to find somebody in every community who can get people going. And we're lucky here. We've got lots of people who are actively involved.
Good. I know that's the thing we need to be doing. You're right. It needs to be ground up. And that's what this whole thing was all really originally organized around anyways, is ground up, bottom up type of thing. And, but we need to make sure we got people everywhere, including flyover country, especially flyover country, because that's really the presidential election is determined more by the electoral college than by the actual vote of the number of people out there. So you've got to have some wins in the middle of the country. So anyway, anything else you want to talk about, y'all, or is this good? This is about, yeah, go ahead, Jovan.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up, I'm taking some courses with the Lutheran Church to be a preacher.
Okay.
You know, it's really interesting. The people that I am surrounded by are a lot of them are part of the LGBTQ community. The person that invited me actually identifies as trans. And these folks are like, you know, my thing with getting involved with this is kind of like what you're saying, Lisa. You know, it's, for me, it's, you know, I personally feel like, and I don't know if some folks agree, you know, feel this sentiment, because I grew up in the Christian church, right? And I have felt ostracized by the church for a very long time. I've not felt comfortable, you know, stepping foot in a church or being a part of that as a trans person. And this is the first time where I am feeling like, wow, okay, you know, there is some bridge building that can happen through this. I want to learn everything there is to know about the Bible and how, because it's been weaponized today within the Republican Party and the church. It's kind of together, forced to, you know, it's like working together. And, you know, I see it with my family. You know, my family came from the Philippines, and they are right-wing Republican Christians, and they will listen to whatever they tell them. They will vote for whoever the church tells them to vote for, you know, unfortunately. I don't know if it's like that for all Republican families. I'm not sure. But for mine, it is. You know, I can only speak for myself. So I just want to put that out there. You know, I want to figure out how to use this platform with the folks that I am in, you know, network with, to figure out how to talk about these issues that are happening through the church lens, you know, of building those bridges. So I just want to mention that.
Okay. Well, fantastic. That's great to hear, by the way, because that bridge does need to be maintained and strengthened between faith and who we are. And, you know, I used to be in one of those evangelical churches. Yeah. So I'm kind of familiar with that one. Yeah. They aren't really just what you think. They are actually very strongly Christian nationalists. And it's that far over there. And my family's the same way, Jovan, is, you know, not my immediate family, my siblings and their families, they're that way. My children aren't, though. So I do want to share one thing in closing. Let me see. I'm going to show you a couple of things here as soon as I get back over to where I'm sharing the screen, apparently, still, it looks like. Okay. Yeah. So that's fine. Let me go back to video projects completed. And I've got, let me see if this one will actually play. And I'll show you what this is. I did one for Transgender Week or Awareness Week. That's what this one is, I do think. Oh, well, it's missing a few elements down through here. I just have to find it again. It keeps disappearing on me. Oh my gosh. Special events. Is that where it is? Video untitled made with that. No. Anyway, if you go over on our news channel, we do this twice a day now during weekdays. We actually do a news show, talk show primarily, and it's just me talking my head off. So it's just me primarily out there saying all kinds of stuff. But where is this? Oh, I know where I can do it. Hold on a second. Can you see this if I share that screen? No, I've got a bunch of stuff going on in the background. I have to pause and think about it. Anyway, there's some stuff I did for Transgender Week of Awareness. There's also some intros I'd created for the news shows. I just wanted to put those out there. But since I don't want to take up your time digging around for all that kind of stuff, I'll just say that they're there, and you'll be able to see them if you watch the news show. With that, anything else we need to talk about?
How do you watch this news show? You talk about it, but I don't see any links anywhere. Where have I missed them?
They're on our Facebook page, our LinkedIn page, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube.
I don't do Twitter. I don't do Twitch.
Mm-hmm. They're also on our website. You can go to the website and get it too at www.tdva-ag.com. You can go click rest right on the home button, and underneath there you'll see a live streaming show option. You go right there, and every day at let me see, it would be 10 your time, Lisa.
Mountain time?
Yep, 10 Mountain time. It makes it 12 Eastern. Yeah, so it's 10, and also at 4 Eastern. 10 and 4 o'clock Mountain time, your time. So they're live weekdays every day, except I think next week I may play some of the recordings, because I've been recording these things now for 2 or 3 months. I've got a lot of recordings. But anyway, anything else that we can talk about? I know Stacy left. Stacy doesn't really like the politics side of stuff very much, but we get into it. We've got to do that. So anyway.
Well,
I do want to bring up one thing, and
Sure.
that is, in my case, is a little bit different, because when people talk about hatred and blah, 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 I run into racism before I run into transphobia. So
Yeah.
all states hate us, and they're redlining and gerrymandering like crazy.
Yeah.
So we get constantly, it's coming, we never know which direction things are coming from. So when I go to get on boards and things like that, they're not looking at the fact that I'm transgender first, they're looking at the fact that I'm Black. And I'll just have to tackle that hurdle somehow and dazzle them with my charm or my bullshit.
Well, I don't mind standing around with you, whatever. I don't mind at all. So
That
I'm
yeah,
just
that's a real.
I'm just an old hillbilly from Kentucky. Everybody thinks I'm stupid because I talk with a Southern accent.
Oh no.
You know how that is.
hey, look, I tell everybody I'm from LA, and they'll go, "Really,
Lower
LA?
Alabama.
Lower Alabama? That's
Lower
right."
Alabama. And they come to me to help translate for you from Lower Alabama and Mississippi.
yeah, I got it. Go translate.
I can even do some Cajun, but not the really heavy Creole.
Yeah, well,
And
did
that's
ever?
with the French mixed in. That's beyond me.
Yeah, but I'll have to tell you a story about, before you get out of here, I'll tell you a real quick story about going to get my voice. I was going to get voice therapy at the University of Alabama, because I live in Alabama near University of Alabama. And the VA sent me out to get my voice worked on, and we did it for about, I guess, 6 months, and I was able to get where I could cut off the low end down here a little bit. It worked really well. There's a whole story that Ray's heard about that, but I'm not going to go into that part of it. But yeah, so then they wanted to do a voice analysis and determine what's the best way to approach helping me get my voice better, to sound better. And they did. They came back in about 2 weeks, and they said, "It sounds like your voice is from Eastern Kentucky." And I go, "Oh shit, sorry." And then they said the thing that clinched it for me. They said, "It'd be real easy to make you sound like a girl from Eastern Kentucky." And I go, "I love my sisters, but no, I don't want to sound like them at all." Anyway.
But I'll tell you what has worked really good with me
Yeah.
is my speech pathologist having a intern,
Mhm.
so I can hear more than just her voice.
Right.
When you're with multiple women, you will start to pick up on everything. And because when I go in and start talking, I will match her voice, her frequency. And it's always good to have somebody like who talks at even a higher frequency than her, because it helps me match.
Mm-hmm.
And I use some music
Okay.
to help me prep before I go.
Okay.
But it doesn't happen overnight. I mean, you've got everything. You got to visualize it. You've got to move it from down here all the way up and to the tip of your tongue, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. So I'm going to go ahead and share one screen with you before we get out of here. This is the one I did for Trans Awareness Week. I was looking for it while you were talking right there. Let me get back to where you are. And I got to find you again, though. Where are you? So I can share a screen. There, got
Still
it.
in this chair.
Yeah, I'm going to share right here and go right here, and I'll show you this little thing. I thought it was pretty cool, but we'll see how it turns out. Not it. Window. Where are we? Well,
Dude, what's that?
what do you see? The black grabbing?
You.
Oh, me?
I don't know.
How about that?
Oh, that's better.
Black?
Okay.
Just solid black? Okay, here we go. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was awesome.
Yeah, I actually, it took me a while to make that darn thing.
That's pretty cool.
Okay.
Now, it would be nice if you had
If I had what?
transgender soldiers walking out of the purple haze.
Yeah, that would be cool. That purple haze is actually supposed to be like Star Trek transporter.
Yeah. Coming out,
Like purple heat.
honor guard type thing, and then have the transgender logos up in the corners.
I'm building one for Transgender Day of Remembrance, and that one will be a little bit more somber, obviously. But anyway, I'll let y'all go because I could talk and talk and talk forever. And I know it's early over there where Jovan's from, and it's getting late over there where Ray's from. But Jovan's going to sleep on us. Okay, y'all. Bye. Bye, everyone. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Cassandra, I'll email you the flyer for the event on Monday.
Thank you.
If you'd like to attend.
I
Okay.
would. Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right.